in this time of tribulation to come. This can either be, like I said, a terror-dome for us, or it can be the hereafter for us, or the onset of a hereafter, because we're going to have to go through some trials and tribulations before we make it through this. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But the best way to show your appreciation for this man that's coming before you tonight is to show love for one another. Isn't that something? Most of the time when we appreciate a man, we give him gifts, right? But here's a man that doesn't want gifts from you. He wants you to give gifts to each other. Is that understood? Here's a man that doesn't exactly or actually want love from you. He wants you to give love to one another. Is that right? So we've misconceived the whole plan. We've misconceived the whole program. We thought that when the minister comes up amongst us, that we all of a sudden we need to break down and get humble. Is that right? That when the minister comes before us, all of a sudden we need to show our love for him. But now he's telling us today that it's not love for him he's looking for. He's looking for love amongst us. Is that right? So that is what's going to save us today. Not exactly just loving the minister, but we've got to begin to love one another. That's what we've got to do. Because the minister, he has a lot with him. But what about us? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
If we don't begin to love one another, then we don't have a lot with us. He's said already. The minister said already. Okay? He's got a lot on his side. He's done his job, as he said. It's on us now.
Yes, sir.
So don't none of you try to go out and act like you're going to try to teach, but we have to begin to grow and love one another. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and bring up our beloved leader and teacher, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan Muhammad. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Where's the young brother?
Brother Shaheed.
Where is he?
He walked. Brother Shaheed, front and center, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God, whose proper name is Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. I thank him over and over and over again for raising up in our midst one to lead, teach, and guide us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a messenger to the black man and woman of America and the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you. Brother, you shouldn't have gotten away so fast. I wanted to hear you.
Yes, sir.
I'm very happy to be here, to be home,
Happy to have you with us.
and to see all of you. I certainly have missed you all, and I'm very glad to say that I'll be off the road for a while, and I'm home now to work
Praise me.
with you for the rise of our people.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry that we don't seem to have enough seats. So you all just come all the way down and fill up right around. I want to look at you. Even if you're standing and it's uncomfortable, just come right on around. In the 15 months that we have been on a national tour, which pretty much covered at least 40 of the 50 United States of America, warning our people of the government's evil intentions against us all. I'm very happy to say that our people all over the United States are ready.
Yes, sir.
The scripture says it like this: the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. What harvest is God speaking of through Jesus? You know, when a fruit comes to ripeness and you don't have many laborers, then the fruit gets rotten and falls to the earth.
Yes.
That's the condition of Black America today. Black America is ripe for freedom, justice, equality, and a nation of our own. The people are ready. But if there is no laborer
Yes.
to harvest the ripe fruit, then the fruit turns rotten. And our people are turning rotten. Not because they desire to be rotten, but because they are ready for a change, but the laborers of change have not gotten to them with the change. I'm going to say that again.
Go ahead.
There's not one of you in this audience that is not ready for change. You know that in order for us to be successful, we have to make a change.
That's right.
Change involves a degree of sacrifice, a degree of pain. But with what we are suffering as a people, what pain is greater than the pain we already have?
Yes, sir.
What suffering is greater than the suffering we are already experiencing?
That's right.
Surely a change for the better that involves some pain and some suffering to make us a better people is not worse than the pain and suffering of being at the foot of the nations of the earth. The harvest is ripe,
Yes.
but the laborers are few. Now, in the Bible, Jesus makes a parable of the kingdom of God. And in his parable, he said, the kingdom of God is likened unto a man. Isn't that interesting? The kingdom of God is likened unto a man who was going away into a far country on a long journey. But before he went, he called all his servants. And he gave to each of his servants a talent. One he gave one he gave 3, one he gave 5, and then he went away. Now, if you think about the time of Jesus, 2,000 years ago, when the mode of transportation was not a 747,
That's right.
but a slow camel or a mule or a horse
Yes, sir.
or a boat. Well, if a man is going on a long journey into a far country At that time, that meant he would be gone for a pretty good while. The kingdom of heaven is like that. It's likened unto a man who was going away for a while. But before he went away, he called all his servants. And the scripture didn't say he missed any of them giving them something. He gave to every one of them a talent. One he gave one he gave 3, one he gave 5, then he went away. The beauty of the parable is he came back. But when he came back, he didn't come back to do what he did before he went. He came back as a man sitting in judgment over his servants. So when he got back, he called his servants to him. And he asked them, what did you do with the talent that I gave you? And the man who had 5, he doubled it and brought him back 10. And the man who had 3, he increased it and brought back 5. But the man who had 1, he buried it. And then he began to accuse his master of being a man that reaped where he didn't sow. So he buried his so he could give him back the same thing that he was given. Now the man that had 5 and increased it to 10, the Lord said, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Because thou hast been faithful over little, I will make you ruler over much. Enter thou into thy joy. And the same he said for the man with 3, but that fellow with 1 who buried it. He said, take his talent from him and give his to the man that had 5 and doubled it to 10. For even the little that you have will be taken away. Cast him into outer darkness, where there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Now, beloved brothers and sisters, this parable of the kingdom of heaven is so beautiful, but it's more beautiful if it is understood. Now, the man that is calling his servants is Jesus.
Yes, sir.
And Jesus is about to be crucified. Some will say he's dead, but he's only going away for a while. Now he calls his servants, and he gives to each of them something. Now they're going to be judged on his return by what they did with what he gave them. So if they put the talent to work to increase it, they get a reward. If they do nothing with what they're given, they get a punishment. In our lessons given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to study lessons that are keys to open up the prophecies of the Bible and the Quran, that these books that have lain around among the nations for hundreds and thousands of years may reveal her inner secrets to those of us who are willing to study. In these lessons, the question is asked in lesson number 2, what is the duty of the civilized man? And the question is followed by another question. If the civilized man fails to perform his duty, what must be done? The talent that Jesus is referring to, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, is not really money, because in those days a talent represented some form of money. But money is a medium of exchange. When you have money in your pocket, it has value, doesn't it? This is $50. It has value. But you don't know the value of this in your pocket. You know the value of this when you try to put it to an exchange. You go to the supermarket, you can get, thank you, $50. You're honest, man. When you get $50 worth of groceries, and you see that $50 don't buy too much groceries, that tells you the value of this. But you won't know it until you try to put it to exchange. Now, Jesus wasn't in the business of giving people money, but what he gave to each one who came to him was a degree of faith. Faith, the talent that has to be put to exchange. If you believe in Jesus, you can't sit on your belief.
That's right.
If you believe in Jesus, you have to work your belief.
Yes, sir.
Your belief has value only when you take it to the marketplace and put it to exchange.
Come on, brother.
You can't sit in church and say, I'm a believer. No. You can't say amen and be an amen corner for the preacher and say, I'm a believer. The church is not the marketplace. The church is where, or the mosque, or the temple, or the synagogue, is where faith is reinforced.
Yes, sir.
Faith is fed. Faith is strengthened. But faith can only go when you invest it, when you use it. So in the book of James, I believe it is, James says, show me a man with faith, and I'll show you a man with what?
Works.
Works. Because faith without works is what? Dead. So every prophet of God that did a great work, they had a faith compatible with the assignment that they were given.
Yes, sir.
Your faith can't be less than the assignment. Your strength can't be less than the weight that you are asked to pick up. If the weight is too much for your strength, then you must find a way to develop your strength to be able to tackle the weight. When God gives a prophet or messenger an assignment, the messenger doesn't just grab the assignment and run. He approaches the assignment like a neophyte approaches heavy weights. He looks at it, it's a little bit too much. He grabs it, and it really resists him. And he might even strain his back. So some wise man will say, just a minute, son, you're lifting it wrongly. First of all, put this thing around you and gird up your loins. This is no plaything. And then they'll say, don't start with that heavy thing. Let's take a little light thing first and begin to pull. And as you begin to develop your strength, now maybe you're ready to tackle that big thing that is the assignment. So it is with the work of God. Every person that believes in God has a duty to perform by God that bears witness to his or her faith. When you shirk the duty, there's no way to say that you have faith. And if you don't work your faith begins to degenerate. And the person becomes rotten within, because you're not using what God gave you.
That's right.
You're burying it. and then we become hypocrites. And a hypocrite is one who says from the lips what is not in the heart. Now, what does that have to do with the harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi, gave him a mission that Master Farad Muhammad said was the hardest job of any man that ever lived. And what was that mission? To raise up the black man and woman from death, mentally, morally, spiritually, socially, economically, and politically, to life, and to make a nation out of divided, dry bones. Yes, difficult job. Yes, big job. Requires what? Big faith. Yes, sir. Big faith in who? Faith in you? Faith in your ability? No. Faith that God stands with you and me to aid us in the big job that he gave us. For if God is not with us, we can't lift this weight. But if God is with us, he will make us strong enough to tackle the job. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad worked among us for 44 years. And in 1975, he departed from among us. It is commonly believed that he is dead. Did that mean that the mission stopped because he's not present? A man, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man. Who is going away on a long journey into a far country. Suppose it is death. Death is a long journey into a far country. But I don't see nobody coming back from that journey. Jesus knew he was not going to die. He knew that he would escape death. Not by his power, but by the power of his Father. But he knew he would be gone for a while. But he gave every one of his disciples a job and a field of labor. And the field of labor is the entire world that has gone mad. Your job is to save your people. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's your job. Don't say, I believe, and you're not actively engaged in the labor of saving your brothers and sisters from the fire. Yes, sir. Of a destruction that's coming upon the wicked. Yes, sir. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. Now, I have noticed, brothers and sisters, that every one of the prophets approached the mission with fear, trepidation, wondering whether they could. But the more they labored, the more God showed them he was with them. Yes, sir. And the more God showed the prophet or messenger that he was with him, the stronger, the bolder he got, the greater his faith became, and the greater the work as a result of his faith. And this is why David could slay a Goliath while all the others sat around frightened. David was not as strong as some of the others. David was not as mighty in appearance as the others, but his faith was bigger than Saul's. His faith was bigger than the other soldiers, even though he was a young boy. He said, let me have him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, son, get back, boy. This is not a boy's work. He says, let me have him. They said, well, if you're going to get him, try my sword. He said, well, it's too heavy for me. I can't use your sword, Saul. It's all right. Well, try my shield, my spear. Try my armor. Well, I can't use that. Well, what are you going to use? Just what I've been using as a shepherd boy. I'll just take these 5 smooth stones out of this brook with my slingshot. That's sufficient. Now, the rest of the soldiers said, this boy is nuts. And when you tackle something that the world thinks is bigger than you, they say, boy, you done lost your mind. Girl, is you crazy? When you desire a goal that is really high, people say, don't do that. I raised you up, child, to be sane. You see? But those are the necessary voices of discouragement to test the quality of your faith. That's why they come. It may be your mother, it may be your father, it may be your sister, your brother, your dear friend who's telling you, you can't do that. Oh, nigga, please, shut up. Oh, man, you crazy. All these are the voices of discouragement. But when those voices of discouragement get loud in your ear, there's a voice of encouragement coming from within saying, you can do it. You can do it. Get on up and try. You can do it. And if you listen to the voices of discouragement, they beat you right down. And before you know it, you're right back with the boys again doing nothing. And when the people ask you, what you doing? I ain't doing nothing. What's happening? There ain't nothing happening. Why? Because the fool didn't want to make nothing happen.
That's right.
He lost courage,
yes, sir,
to tackle what they call the impossible. There is nothing impossible with God.
Yes, sir.
God has ended the impossibility of anything and everything when he created the heavens and the earth from nothing. How dare any of his servants say it is impossible?
That's right.
So you that sit here tonight with your brother, know that you can accomplish what you will.
Yeah.
Up, you mighty nation. There is nothing too big for you if your faith will be taken to the marketplace and put to an exchange. What reward will you get for your faith? In the lessons again, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says to us, Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. And it can be proved true at no limit of time, but you must learn to put your mathematical theology to work.
Yes, sir.
To secure benefits for yourself, luxury, money, good home, friendships in all walk of life. You don't have any money, whose fault is it?
That's right.
You don't have any luxury, whose fault is it? You don't have a good home and friendships in all walk of life, whose fault is it? You have not learned to put your mathematical knowledge of God to work.
Yes, sir.
You have
Yes,
not
sir.
brought your faith to the marketplace. You have not put your faith to an exchange, so you are in danger of judgment on his return. What have you done with the talent that I gave you? Well, Lord, I knew you was one that reaped where you had not sown. I knowed you was coming back, so I just buried mine so I could give it back to you just like you gave it to me. Well, Amos and Andy, you'll be in serious, serious trouble.
Yes, sir.
That's what's wrong with religion today. Religion is sedimentary, you know. Everybody's sitting down on their religion. It's like the religion is there behind, you know. Just sit down on it.
That's right.
Lean on it.
That's right.
Excuse me. I'm not being vulgar.
Make it plain, brother.
I just want to make it interesting. And that's why most of us get big bottoms Because we're sitting on religion. Excuse me. My track coach used to tell me, he said, I can tell when you're in shape. Because, you know, you lose the fat on your back. And when your back has dimples in it, then we know that you have what, brother? And you are ready for the race. And that man worked me to death. And us, I hated him as a coach. And most of us will hate God because we don't want to work out our salvation. Right. We want to slide into it. Right. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, brother.
You know,
come on. Teach us.
Fade into it, groove into it. Yes, but we don't want to work our salvation out. In the kingdom of heaven, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it ain't no sit-down kingdom. No, I mean, we got to get up, he says, sir. And go to work.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that what he said?
That's what he said.
All right. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. And then the few that there are who are willing to labor, many of them are not even worthy. So the situation becomes grave. And the chastisement becomes evident as to why God will separate us, certain ones to the right and others to the left, and some to darkness and some to joy, because there are those of us who want to sit on religion and talk religion, and there are those of us who want to sing the praises of God but not want to actively become participants and agents in God's creative process. Maybe I should end the lecture now. You know, I think your minds are wide open now. You really saw very clearly everything that God has allowed me to say already. And all I can do from this point is to reinforce it and then give direction to you. Look at the power that's in this room tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are so beautiful. And you have such tremendous potential.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad that I'm home now.
Yes, sir.
Because this potential must never remain potential.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
It must become actual power for change. Now, brothers and sisters, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a mission that was oh so dangerous and so great. The mission of raising you up, us up as a people. Now you know that the Caucasian people have built their world on our backs.
That's right.
And it is their desire to keep us ignorant.
Yes, sir.
That they can continue to use us as tools and slaves.
Yes, sir.
So any man that would come, any woman that would come to teach us truth, to make us valuable to ourselves, would become an enemy of those who have used us.
That's right.
And this is why every black leader of value has either been lied on, jailed, deported, assassinated. The government at this very moment wants Farrakhan dead. They have tried many, many schemes. And so far, by the grace of God, they have not worked. So they have decided to terminate Louis Farrakhan. And it is an order from the highest office in the land. And it's written in the Quran and in the Bible. You know, whenever a servant of God is working to save a people that are being used by another authority, after a while, the authority just says, kill him. Look at the scriptures with Moses when Pharaoh said, leave me alone and let me slay him. He desires to turn me out of my land. Leave me alone and let me kill him. And so Pharaoh wanted Moses dead. Herod wanted Jesus dead. All of the prophets were under rulers that wanted them dead. And every one of our great leaders that became too influential, the authorities wanted them dead. America is trying to prosecute a war now in Saudi Arabia. They don't want me telling these beautiful young brothers of mine that you have no business over there fighting for your enemy.
That's right. All right.
So they can't tolerate me much longer, which is fine with me. But they intend to do what they intend to do. And we intend to do what we intend to do.
Right. Yes, sir.
And our intentions is to double, triple, quadruple, quintuple our efforts.
Yes, sir.
To save people.
Yes, sir.
Now, the black man is a difficult man to save.
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir.
And if you want a hard job that will test every fiber of your being, try to save us. Try to make us a better people. I don't mean try to entertain us. We love entertainment.
That's right. That's right.
I mean try to make a difference in our lives.
Right.
And try to transform our lives into useful lives.
Yes.
And you got a fight on your hands.
That's right.
So in the Quran, Jesus asks the question in the 60th surah. I'd like to just read it. I think it's the 60th surah, or 61st surah. Yes, it's the 61st surah called the ranks. He said, O you who believe, be helpers in the cause of Allah, as Jesus, son of Mary, said to the disciples, who are my helpers in the cause of Allah? And the disciples said, we are helpers in the cause of Allah. Then look at this. So a party of the children of Israel believed, and another party disbelieved. Then we aided those who believed against their enemy, and they became predominant. Once you make an agreement to be a helper in the cause of God, then your faith in God must grow to enable you to handle the mission. But there's going to be a party that will disbelieve, and they will become an enemy to the workers and the helpers But Allah says he aided the believers against their enemies, and the believers became predominant, or they became the winner. Who are my helpers? Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had many ministers, many men and women whom he trained, taught. And they're not lightweight men and women. You won't meet anybody taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that is a lightweight. And I'm really referencing the ministers and laborers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, whom some of you know and some of you have met. They are brilliant men and women. However, brilliance and faith must be demonstrated in the work of redemption, which is the mission of the teacher who taught you. Malcolm was a brilliant disciple.
Yes, sir.
But in the end, he deviated. Regardless to all the good that Malcolm X did, when he deviated from his teacher for whatever his reasons may have been, history will say his reasons were not justified. He charted a different course, and in that different course he had no real mission. His mission became destructive to the mission of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
As a result, many of you who claim Malcolm as your teacher, if I asked you, what is your mission? You have none.
Right.
I'm sorry. What are you working on?
Right.
What are you doing? Where are you going? I don't know. What is your mission? What is your objective? When Malcolm left the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he never gave a clear delineation of a new mission. He said what he was. He was a nationalist. But how many of us who claim to be nationalists really have the idea of nation in our minds? And what kind of nation would you build? When you get confused as to who you are even. Yesterday you were a Negro and colored, and then you became black, and now you're an African or an African American. Poor fellas.
Talk to us, brother.
What is your mission?
Right.
Where are you going? You don't know. Elijah Muhammad had a very clear objective.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And he never deviated from that objective.
That's right.
What is your mission, Elijah Muhammad? My mission is the resurrection of the dead. Who are the dead, Elijah Muhammad? The dead are the black people of America and the world. By resurrecting them, what do you mean? To teach them the knowledge of themselves, the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the enemy of God, the knowledge of the time and what must be done. Then what? Then we must pool our resources and build a nation of our own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Were you working on that when you departed from us? I most certainly was. Then what happened? We lost our direction. And when you lose your direction, you have no sense of purpose or mission. The mission of the Quran is not for you to learn Arabic and become an Arab.
That's right. Teach us, brother.
The mission of the Quran is not for you to say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's not the mission of the Quran.
Right.
The mission of the Quran is the transformation of human life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With a purpose in mind, not to make you Americans or African Americans, but to make a nation
Yes, sir.
of committed people to the principles of righteousness. The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man who gave his followers some talent. I was reading a book, and I'd like to read you a few passages from it.
Take your time.
Time runs, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
You all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be to God.
And in this book, it's called The Brother of the Prophet Muhammad. And it is by Muhammad Chidi. It's in 2 volumes, and I have found it fascinating. I'd like to read you a few things from it. Now, the brother of Muhammad is called Ali. Ali is a name, one of the attributes of God, which means the Most High. Ali was to Muhammad as Aaron was to Moses. I'm trying to give you a picture now
Yes, sir.
of an assistant, of a minister, of a helper. This is the only book that I have ever read that calls Ali the minister of Muhammad. Not imam, but the minister. And then in a chapter that precedes the one we're going to read, it's called Brother and Minister. He was Muhammad's brother and he was Muhammad's minister. Not that he came from the same father and mother, because the Prophet Muhammad had no brother. But brother means he came from the same spiritual womb that the prophet came from. He came out of the same longing of the masses that produced the prophet. Out of that same longing, the prophet's brother and minister was produced.
Yes, sir.
And I want you to listen to this. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. Now, Prophet Muhammad said to Ali, quote, "Will it not satisfy you to be to me like Aaron to Moses, except that there will be no prophet after me?" He's saying to Ali that all the ranks of Aaron, with the exception of prophethood, will come to you. You will be a successor. You will be a minister, an aider. You will sit in my seat on my departure, as it was said by Moses to Aaron, "Be my successor among my people, and do good, and follow not the path of the mischief makers." Be my successor. In one place it says, "Take my place among the people, and follow not the path of the mischief maker." This now is a helper coming. A helper. Lord, a helper. A helper. A helper. I used to sit with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sometimes, and I don't know why he would be looking at me singing this song. You know, he wasn't quite a singer or anything, you know, but he would sing this little song. He really wasn't trying to sing or nothing, but he would say it like on a poetic kind of way. He says it's an old song that the Christians sing. You know, he said, I saw a man climbing up the mountain late in the evening carrying a heavy load. And he said, Lord, when will my help come? Lord, when will my help come? And as he was getting close to the top of the mountain carrying that heavy load, he said, Hosanna, Hosanna, my help is come. Then he said, the angels came and bore him away over the dashing foam. But when he was borne away, the help had come. And he would say that to me and then look at me. And I don't know why he's saying it. When will my help come? You know, I may have been smart to some, but I was a kind of dumb student, you know. And I say I was kind of dumb because I didn't ask the kind of questions that I should have asked. He called me one day and he said to me, brother, he said, my head pains me at night. I feel sometimes like I'm going to have a stroke. I called you out here to give you some of my burden. And I was so happy that he was going to share his burden with me. I kept waiting for him to give me the burden. And after he talked to me for a few minutes, he says, well, brother, I finished with you what I wanted to say. You may go back to New York. And I was very confused. But what he was telling me was he was going to drop the load
Yes, sir.
on me.
Yes, sir.
And the burden, of course,
Here we are.
is 30 million or more of us. So he kept saying, when will my help come? The help was there, but the help didn't know that it was help. And I'm saying the same. When will my help come? But my help is here. But my help now must be conscious that it is a help, then help. Let me see what it goes on to say. Now, they said, why is such a big reward for a ministry that the man would be everything except a prophet? Well, the answer is, according to this scholar, that the ministry of Ali is not a reward from the prophet as much as it is a gift from Ali. This ministry or assistance is a tremendous sacrifice on the part of the minister. To make this clear, the scholar goes on to say, I would like to say that there are two types of ministry. One, a ministry of administrating the affairs of an established state. The man of such a ministry is a counselor to the head of state by authorization from his superior or from the Congress or from the people. Number two, a ministry of founding and establishing a state. The minister here would be the assistant of his superior in bringing into being a state which did not exist yet, or in spreading a new faith which is not yet known to the people. The mission of a minister of this kind is to carry with his superior the tremendous responsibility of establishing a faith and a state, and to face with his superior all the dangers. But he would be the protective shield of his superior, constantly ready to sacrifice himself for the safety of his superior. A minister of the first kind is a gift from the head of state to his minister, and a great honor bestowed on him by elevating him to a high office. But the ministry of the second kind is not a gift from the superior as much as it is a gift from the minister to the superior. It is a tremendous sacrifice which the minister offers continuously for the protection of his superior and for making his mission, the mission of his superior, a success. A minister of this kind faces with his superior dangers and difficulties which could not be faced by the human multitude. Now, I would take one bit of difference with the scholar, that a minister of this kind is not a gift from the minister to the superior, it is the gift from Allah of the minister to his superior. Because if you go back to the Quran, Moses prayed to God for a minister, and God answered him saying, your petition is granted. So it is God who granted the minister as a gift to his superior. But the minister would have to face all the dangers, the difficulties of his superior to see the success, the fruition of the mission of his superior. Who are my helpers in the cause of Allah? Well, let's go on. The minister whom the holy prophet was seeking from among the members of his family was from the second rather than from the first kind. For there was no established state, there was not yet any Muslim community. The messenger of God was not in need of a counselor to advise him how to spread the message or to found a state. He was in need of a person of unusual sincerity and heroism with an absolute obedience to God and his messenger. A person that deserves to be the brother of the messenger of God and his successor after his absence from this world must have a soul that is virtuous enough to be an extension of the soul of the prophet himself. He must resemble him to a high degree in knowledge, wisdom, and rise above self-interest. In other words, he must be a replica of the great prophet. So if you say Moses is the great prophet, he must be a man like Moses in order to do the work of Moses. He must be a man like Muhammad in order to do the work of Muhammad. He must be a man like Jesus in order to do the work of Jesus. He must be born from the same womb that gives rise to Jesus, to Moses, to Muhammad, in order to be his brother and his minister or helper in the mission. He must be born from the same womb that gives rise to Jesus, to Moses, to Muhammad, in order to be his brother and his minister or helper in the mission. Isn't that something? Listen. Listen. The messenger of God was not in need of a person who advises him about the wise course he would take. The messenger was the most intelligent and the wisest. He only was in need of a minister who would assist him by his big action, sacrifices, and heroic work. The minister would be the recipient of his knowledge when the need arises. He will be able to represent the messenger and sit on his chair after him. Now look at this. The next section is titled, "The Prophet Wanted to Have No Excuses." And he goes on to say, "One should not doubt for a minute that the messenger of God was aware who will be his minister before he spoke to the members of his clan." He's saying that don't doubt that the messenger was not aware. He was aware of who his successor or minister or helper would be. Look at this. He knew that there was none among the group that had the quality of the needed minister but Ali. However, the messenger would not choose Ali to the high offices without leaving no excuse for the rest of his relatives. He would not let the coming generations say that if he had asked someone other than Ali, he would have found many qualified persons. He would not let us wonder whether the messenger had a favoritism toward Ali and distinguished him without a clear reason. It was necessary then to give the rest of the members of his clan the opportunity to make them show their attitude and to make the merit of Ali the more evident. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew who his helper would be.
Yes, sir. That's right.
But he didn't want you to think that he showed favoritism to this one or that one. He wanted his family to know that he knew. So when Ali was just a boy, he put his hand on Ali's head and said, "This is my brother, my executor, and my successor in you. Listen to him and obey him." He asked the people to do that before the boy even came into the mission. And he did the same with the wives. The prophet had wives, and he gave each one of them the opportunity to make them show their attitude, to make the merit of Aisha more evident. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he wrote me and put me on the radio broadcast, he said, "I gave this assignment to others before you, but I had you in mind all the time, because I did not want them to think that they could have done it. I wanted them to show that they could not do it, so that when you did it, they would all be satisfied." Yeah. And so we need not be confused today when you see a minister of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad standing to do the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Don't be angry with him. He's to show and make it more evident that the messenger knew exactly what he was doing when he told the nation to obey me.
All right, so clear.
And it is clear. Isn't it clear?
Yes, sir.
Should be clear to everybody.
Yes, sir. That's right.
That this is the brother of the messenger of God.
That's right.
It should be very clear that this is not only his brother, but this is his minister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is his helper.
Yes, sir.
His help has arrived.
Yes, sir.
To the mind to know that he is not a helper, but the helper.
Yes, sir.
And if anybody would be a helper of Muhammad, you must help as I direct.
Yes, sir.
Not according to what is in your mind.
That's right, sir. Yes, sir.
Because you don't have the mission.
That's right. Teach.
Yeah. This was not the subject that I really had first thought to come and talk to you about. But this one pushed the other one out. And then the other one I'll take up with you maybe next week. I like to come out on Wednesdays. I I don't like these Sunday meetings where people just come out on Sundays.
Right.
You know, it make you think you're in church. You know, everybody just come out on Sunday. So I say, well, I'll come out on Wednesday.
Praise be.
And Friday.
Yes, sir.
And to all my brothers who are standing around, I'm sorry that you are standing, and we'll do better to get some more chairs here the next time I come, but thank you so very much for standing. Now, I'm not quite finished. Do you have a few more minutes that you'd like to say?
It's your time, sir.
Now, beloved, this may sound self-serving, and I don't say this in any way to put any accolades on myself. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to let you know from books, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, your history is written in a book.
That's right.
And you just go find the book and you find yourself in a book. Because there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, it's all been written. Now we're living this. We're living this. 13 years ago, I decided, with the help of God, to rebuild the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
I started weak. I started afraid. I started timid. But at every step along the way, Allah showed me that He was with me. And my faith increased. And as my faith increased, the work of faith increased. And today, with the help of God and with your help, we have excited and raised the consciousness of an entire people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not only in America, but now is gone throughout the earth.
That's right. That's right.
And now I've come home after 13 years of travel. And I read in the history that Ali was 13 years old when he was given the assignment. And at 13, he was asked to lay in the bed of Muhammad, because at that time, the people had decided to kill Muhammad. And strong men from every section of the tribe
Yes, sir.
had decided, we are going to kill him, so that no one person would be guilty of the crime. Strong men of every section of the tribe agreed to kill him. And that is as it is right now. But as God is my witness, I really have no fear. I can't tell you how happy I am, how joyous I am, how excited I am just to walk in the footsteps of such great men that the government of the United States would be so terrified.
Yes, sir. That's what they are.
Of my mouth
Yes,
and
sir.
your ears
Yes, sir.
and my heart and your heart, that the government wants to end my life. But I say like David, and I mean this, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. And no matter how much these beasts have done against me, I don't want for nothing.
That's right.
There's nothing that I want that I don't have ability to gain.
That's right.
I mean, nothing. He told me that before. Nothing that you want that you won't have the ability to get. Just ask it of Allah in my name. Yeah. The Lord is my shepherd.
Yes, sir.
He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Brothers and sisters, I can't describe the feeling for you except to say that I feel like I'm right up in his bosom. And you know, when a baby is in the bosom of its mother, I mean, it don't get no more secure than that. And the bosom of God is not for Farrakhan alone. It's for you. I'm gonna say that again.
Yes, sir. Say it again.
Yes, brother. The bosom of God is not for Farrakhan alone. It's for every one of you. You don't need to walk in fear.
That's right.
You don't need to fear for your life. If you come and let the shepherd that's guiding me guide you.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
What a feeling of contentment. I mean, I worry more about you than I worry about myself, because I think the beast kind of, even though he gets crazy, you know, I kind of think his aim is not just me. His aim is us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why us? He wants Farrakhan out of the way because the word is in him, and the spirit of God and that word is in him.
Yes.
But he's not going to leave you, Abdullah. He can't leave you. If he get me, he got to get you.
That's right.
Because if he don't get me, I mean, if he gets me and leave you, the word is here.
That's right. That's right.
What about you, Wally? He got to get you.
Yes, sir.
He been listening to you. Well, if he comes to get me, he can't leave Ava.
That's right.
There's nobody in North America that I know that don't have the word of Muhammad through his servant more in them than Sister Ava. And I'm not saying that to put any of the brothers down. Not at all.
Yes, sir.
But Sister Ava has been there with me as the Spirit of Allah moves me.
Yes.
And she gets the word first.
Yes. Yeah.
And puts it down in writing.
Yes.
And it don't just go down in writing, it goes in her heart.
That's right. That's right.
So many of you who knew the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you haven't come up to the modern times yet. You think that by staying with him and leaving me, you're really with him. And every day that you don't walk with his helper, you get further and further behind.
That's right.
You can tell that I must be his helper because his God is making me successful.
That's right.
So now I ask you the question that he asked me. Now this is coming to the conclusion. Who will be my helpers in the cause of the rise of our people? We have come home not so much to preach, because God has blessed me to be able to do that fairly well.
No question. No question.
But the word has to be made flesh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can't live alone on the Word. The Word must be reality, and we must build a community that all the people out there are excited about the Word. But if they come among us, will they be pleased with what they see, with what they feel, with what they touch?
That's right.
See?
Go ahead.
We've got to make the nation as it should be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The harvest is ripe. The laborers are few. So I'd like to close reading from the Supreme Wisdom, instructions given to the laborers by Master Farad Muhammad. Now, a laborer, which all of us who believe in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and are with me, you are a laborer.
Teach. Make that plain. Teach.
What is a laborer? You say it's a worker. Yeah, that's right, but not just a worker. Ask a woman who's pregnant, who goes into what is called labor. Sisters, my sisters, what is labor? Oh, Lord, it is hard, painful work to produce something new, something that you have been working on, developing, and keeping a secret. But when it's time, you got to go into labor to bring it forth. And one of the things that your husband or whoever has to say to you when you are in labor now and it's time for delivery, they say, push.
That's right.
Push, mother. And then you push. And it didn't come yet. And you want to die because you pushed so hard that last time. But it's crowning, but it ain't here yet. But come on, mother, push. And the doctor says you can do it. And you're breathing, screaming and crying. All right. And you summon the courage. Brothers, I'm telling you the truth. I never was so blessed to see my wife deliver one of my children, one of the biggest disappointments in my life, that I was not there. Several times I went with her through the labor. But when it was time to deliver, the doctors in those days wouldn't let the male, who is the father, into that delivery room. And I thought, that just crushed me. Because as a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he taught us, you know, that it's terrible that we who plant the seed aren't there to harvest what we planted, you see. Well, anyway, I happened to, for the first time, see a movie. I can't remember where I was, what city I was in, but it was on PBS, The Miracle of Life. And I thought I had seen it before, but I never saw the baby actually delivered. This was a white woman, but I didn't care what woman it was. I was looking at a process. And when I saw that, what they call the crowning, when that baby's head was there, to me, I'm just looking at a movie. I mean, the tears ran down my face. And when that baby came forth, I said, Allahu Akbar, because to me that was the most magnificent experience, to see life come forth from her labor. God wants to bring a nation to life.
Yes, sir.
It's not easy, brothers and sisters, to bring us through the birth passage.
Yes.
It's not easy to bring us through the opposition of the world, of the white man who wants to see us forever at the foot of themselves and their children. It's not easy to bring us through the ignorance, the hatred, the envy, the jealousy that keeps us divided against ourselves. It's not easy. It's labor. I don't care, FOI, how much you pushed yesterday. The baby didn't come yet.
That's right. Yes.
So take a deep breath and gird up your loins, because I'm going to cry out, push.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because we got a nation that got to come to life. I want all you young men, this is your home.
Yes, sir.
When you come here a nigger, but you don't remain that. You come here Negro and Afro-American, but when you get finished here, you come out of here a man of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, strength, and power. Power for what? Faith for what? I want you to take the faith that you get and let's rush to the marketplace and put your faith to an exchange, and then let us see the work that faith produces. Yes, this is a Goliath, but we are like little David.
Yes, come on.
This is a big job, but it ain't bigger than the faith that God has put in us. We know we can save our people. Our people are out there tonight, brothers.
That's right.
They drunk.
That's right. Yes.
My daughter, Betsy Jean, told me the other day, right around from where she lives, she went to the store, and there was a man, drunk, sitting down on the ground, the smell of urine, as he had urinated on himself. He's stinking, looking terrible. And we see him and we walk by him like he don't, oh, this nasty nigga, I wish somebody move him. But she couldn't walk by him. He was asking for money. She knelt down and got where they were eye level. And she said she began talking to him tough.
Yeah.
Said, mighty black man, look at you in this condition. And she could see behind his bloodshot eyes that he knew that she loved him and cared enough about him. And behind his bloodshot eyes, she could see the light coming into his face because somebody cared. We got to go into the crack house.
Come on. That's right. That's right.
We got to get our young girls off the corner,
yes,
brothers.
Sir. Yes,
we
sir.
can't walk by them and say, ain't that a damn shame? Right. We got to go and do something about that shame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't say they're looking bad. I got suits that I haven't used. I've used them, but I've outgrown them. You got some suits. Why not let's clean them up and bring them here? Go get your people, clean them up. You get us a community shower. Bring them in here. Shower down. Get him a haircut. Clean him up. Put a suit on him. Sit him down. Teach him. And then put him to work. We don't need no damn unemployment office.
That's right.
This is the employment office. Let's go put our people to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. We can't be an elitist group.
Come on.
That's right.
Get ourselves all cleaned up and now forget where we came from.
Right.
Come on.
Talk to us, brother.
Who are my helpers?
Yes, sir.
Don't walk by your poor, pitiful people.
Right.
Don't walk by the little gang bangers. Look at them jive gang bangers. No! They're the best that we got. They
Yes,
just
sir.
need to be taught.
That's all.
They're ripe. But where are the laborers who will harvest the ripe fruit? So in the lessons, the instructions to the laborers, Master Farad Muhammad says in instruction number 11, brothers and sisters. He didn't say men alone. This ain't no male chauvinist teaching.
Right.
He said brothers and sisters. When you say and, then what is on one side is equal to what is on the other side.
That's right.
The conjunction there joins two equal things.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, you all get busy and help me arise the dead nation and place them on top of civilization. My greatest desire is to give everyone his or her own. Then he says, I do not want importance among the officials nor the laborers. Don't walk around because you have an official position and think that you are more important than the least sister, the least brother in here.
Yes, sir.
Because the one closest to God is not the one with the biggest title.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
The one closest to God is the one that is most mindful of his or her duty to God. Don't get important. Don't feel big. Because if you get big, you can't do the work. When you get too high, you can't stoop.
Yes, sir.
My daughter stooped down because you got to stoop down to pick your people up.
Yes, sir.
But if you're too high and mighty with your wisdom now, you so clean you can't get your precious hands dirty. You must remember he might have AIDS. Don't breathe on me. He just needs some AIDS.
Yes,
That's right.
I need AIDS. AIDS is another word for helpers.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about that other AIDS.
That's right.
I need help.
Yes, sir.
So he says, I do not want importance among the officials nor the laborers. Do not do other than yourself. We are not supposed to do or be other than what we are. What are we? We're righteous Muslims. Then don't do other than yourself, and don't take on mixed instructions other than our assignment. You don't get off track. You got one mission, one objective, one aim, one purpose. That is the rise of our people. Don't get sidetracked. Yes, it's good to do this, it's good to do that, but with the focus in mind. See, you want to be a doctor, but a doctor ain't nothing unless he's tied to a mission bigger than being a doctor.
Yes, sir.
You got a nation to heal. You want to be a sociologist, a psychologist, a lawyer, fine, go be that. But to be a lawyer just to make money, no, to be a lawyer to fight for justice for your people, because the idea is to make a people free. Everything is for the rise of your people.
Yes, sir.
Don't get sidetracked. I want to be a musician. Fine, be a musician. But don't let me catch you into funk. Don't do other than yourself.
Yes, sir.
We don't have no funky Muslims.
Yes,
Right.
Right.
They used to be funky. But the Savior said you must clean up
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
or you're out of luck with us.
Yes, sir.
So that should be reflected in your music.
Yes.
Should be reflected in your song. It should be reflected in your dance. You ain't out there entertaining for entertainment purpose. You out there entertaining, and you got wisdom in it to make a people rise. And that's what Living Color, what made Living Color more successful.
That's right.
Because they dropped some lugs
That's right. That's
in skits that would raise the level of consciousness of the people. That's what makes Public Enemy one of the top rap groups in the world, because they put wisdom in a rap, because their aim is to see a people free. Is it making sense?
Yes, sir.
You don't want to be a politician just to be a politician. You want to be a politician so you can fight for the liberation of your people. You got one aim, one destiny, one focus. Don't take on mixed instructions other than your assignment. Huh? So I'll skip down to 13. 13 said, big fields are awaiting the wide awake man to work out. Arise the dead by the thousands.
Yes, sir.
How dare you come telling me you arose the dead by the twos and the threes? Yes, sir, brother minister. I taught Sunday and 3 of them got up. That's the limit of your faith. I can understand it. Look at these mighty men. Brothers, we need people in Robbins,
That's right.
in Markham,
Yes.
Ford Heights.
in Kankakee, in Waukegan, all over. I mean, we got to flood the west side.
That's right. Yes, sir. That's right.
And the west side is our people.
That's right.
And they're some of the best of our people.
Yes, sir.
What do we look like concentrating on the south side and leaving the west side with the tough soldiers?
Right.
You got the mighty army on the west side and a mighty army on the south side. They got to join.
Yes.
We got to take Chicago.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How big is your faith?
Come on, come on.
I want to say to Danny Davis, you want to be mayor?
Yes, sir.
Well, we got to strengthen him up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
But it's yours, whatever you want.
That's right.
You can do it if we work together. Big field awaits the fast asleep man. The wide awake. You got to be wide awake to the knowledge of God. And when you know that there is no mystery God, you can't sit at home and pray for bread
Right.
and think that bread is going to drop down on your table. You will sit there.
That's right.
And you will sit there.
Yes.
And you will die there.
That's right.
Because unless you pray, then get up and work, there ain't no bread on that table. No mystery God. Whatever we want, pray and work as a unit, we'll bring it into existence.
Yes, sir.
I want to see in 1991 the greatest year, not of progress of an individual spreading the word throughout the nation, but the progress of individuals working together as a collective unit for the liberation of our people. I want to see the restaurant bakery
Yes,
complex
sir. Yes, sir.
completed in 1991. I want to see the school brought to a high level of achievement. I want to see us take the word and take this FOI and put them to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In a productive manner. I want them owning some apartment buildings
Right.
before the year's out. I want to see, listen. I want to see the best trucks that the white man makes. Tractor trailers owned by the FOI, driven by the FOI, carrying our produce across the country. I want to see these men productive, and I want to see the sisters competing with them. How apartment buildings you want to own by the end of 1991 so that you don't have to be walking around here looking for some jive apartment. We'll own the building, clean it up, put you in it, and secure you with our life. We want production.
Yes, sir.
We got to make the word bond. But before we can do that, the mass must be thoroughly organized.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And the laborers must be thoroughly trained.
Yes, sir.
Our work is before us.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
Yes, sir.
Who are my helpers?
We are.
What? I'm sorry, I just didn't hear. Yeah? Well, that's wonderful. Then big field awaits the wide awake brother and sister to work out in. Let us arise the dead by the thousands. The dead nation must arise, for the time is at hand.
Yes, sir.
Look in your poison book. What? Poison book? What's that? That's the Bible. It's poison if you don't understand it. It'll kill you. But if you understand that Bible, it's medicine.
Yes, sir.
It's a healing. Look in it. Don't stay in it. Look in it. Work cheerfully.
That's right.
I know I ain't never seen a woman cheerful in labor. She may smile afterwards, but she don't laugh and giggle while she's going through that. But Master Farad Muhammad says work cheerfully. The mosque must be a house of cheer.
Yes, sir.
When people come here, they may have a long face before they get here, but when they get here,
Right.
they got to feel the spirit of cheerfulness. And you work cheerful. You see how I teach cheerful?
Yes, sir.
Hardly can stop smiling. I can't help myself. I work cheerfully.
Go ahead, Brother Master. Go ahead.
And fear not. Fear not. Don't you let fear choke you. Let faith guide you. Let your faith go to work for you. Put your mathematical theology to work, and you will secure benefits, luxury, money, good homes, friendship, in all walk of life. Work cheerful. Fear not. You are the righteous, the best, and the powerful. Ooh. That sounds so good. You are the righteous. You are the best. You are the powerful. What makes you powerful? What makes you the best? What makes you the righteous? Because you're born of God. You are his nation. He created you. So you are the righteous by nature, but we are only wicked by circumstance. And you are the best because God has chosen you. And you are the powerful because the mighty and the wise is backing you.
Yes, sir.
Up, you mighty nation. You can accomplish what you will. The harvest is ripe. But I don't see a few laborers. I'm looking out.
Yes, sir.
And I see many laborers.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Potentially. Many. The question is, are you ready to push to bring our people up out of this condition? If you are, I am. Let's go to work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.